So whenever we first set this up, it was going to be about, the importance of doing an exploration. But before we get into that, I really want to get your input on why this is the right time for general contractors, pre-construction teams, estimating departments to even look at technology during this time that people may be working from home and trying to stay healthy and safe with COVID-19 going on.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, talked to a lot of customers, and over the years, and especially recently, and hands down, the number one reason that we hear people not being able to fully engage and kind of go through the evaluation is just, hey, they've got so much going on. Business is good. They've got more than they can handle, and there's this kind of sentiment around gotta make hay while the sun is shining. And I think now what we're seeing and hearing more than ever is just this is kind of forcing people to slow down a little bit, and really like take time to look at the things and examine the processes they've known really they need to look at for the last few years, but just haven't found a good and natural opportunity. And so we're hearing a lot of people really say that, hey, this is helping us take time to work on our business instead of just kind of working in the business. And it's funny, I bet I've had 3 or 4 companies really share that sentiment just in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks. So it's just that forcing function of slowing down and getting to the things that they've really known they need to be, but just haven't been able to.
Well, and you and I have talked about it before about working on the business instead of in the business. So for our customers that perhaps you have talked to, or even some of our prospects that are out there, what does that look like with Precon? I know one of our customers has said, he's going through his unit pricing and making sure that that's updated. What are some things that you're hearing, or what do you suggest that if people are wanting to work on the business, what are some things that they could do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything from process to tool set, and I think it's really easy to look up and like, man, we've been using these same tools for 10 years, and the tools work. But I think it's taking a step back and understanding that, okay, the world is changing around us. Technology is changing faster than ever. I think just the simple question of, hey, how has my technology changed over the last 5 years or the last 10 years, I think is something that could probably be eye-opening for a lot of people. And kind of the self-reflection is, hey, if we continue to evolve and at this pace, are we going to get left behind, right? If technology continues to push out and we kind of stay here, like what does that mean, big picture to our business and to our company? But also, just taking a more tactical approach and saying like, yeah, we got a process that works, but man, where are there things that just don't have to maybe be there, right? Where are these extra steps, these extra clicks, the extra phone call to your coworker to say, hey, where's this or where's that? Those types of things, and just kind of going from really, point A to point Z, understanding where there's unnecessary action and rework and things like that do take time and do add some risk into the process.
Well, you bring up a good point, and being able to talk about like really assessing what tool sets they have today. And I know with a lot of people all of a sudden working remotely, it's going, I can't access my database. And they're having to jump through hoops to try to do business that they were very familiar with doing inside the company. And if they're now working remotely, that may not be a simple click or a simple just turn on the computer, you're ready to go. So as companies want to start exploring different tool sets, especially within the estimating realm, let's talk a little bit about like, what does that look like? How do people say, yes, this is something I need to go look at? And what are some best practices for them to actually kick that off?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. I think high level is kind of first like, hey, is what we're doing today, is it working optimally, right? And if the answer is yes, then you're ahead of nearly everybody else, so good for you. But if more likely the answer is there's probably some room for improvement. So I would start to categorize, like, maybe what those challenges or those opportunities are. Is it tool set related? Is it process related? Is it work from, hey, I can't work from home? Or is it, hey, our team can't collaborate in general, right? So just try to categorize, like, what are the different opportunities that there might be out there. I think that's from just kind of an understanding where to start perspective. I think from there, it's really kind of understanding what else is out there. I think for a lot of people that we talk to, and we've got some great customers and we've been doing some great things for many years, but there's still a lot of people that don't really know there's other options out there. Kind of get really safe with the status quo. So I think just educate yourself, and don't just look at us, look at other people, and kind of see who all's out there. See what other people are saying, and see what challenges people have solved by kind of, whether it's through peer groups or JVs or whatever it may be. Start to talk to other people, see what they're doing, see what challenges they're facing, and how they're planning to fix those. So I think just one, realizing there's some challenges and opportunities. Two, starting to educate yourself on what else is out there, and who else is kind of taking action. And then three, I think, we kind of are the experts in terms of helping people understand the impact and taking people through an evaluation. So reach out to us, reach out to other companies as well, and start to hear what they're saying and what they're seeing across the industry.
Yeah, you brought up a good point of like reaching out to peer groups. I know a lot of our current customers, they heard about us through someone else who was already using our software, and I think that's a great reminder of people reaching out, whether you're in a formalized peer group or maybe it's someone you worked with at a previous company, utilizing that network that people have.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk a little bit about, like, let's say that someone's going to move forward. Hey, they have a problem with their process. Their current tools aren't getting them where they want to go as a company. What kind of criteria should someone set to say, hey, we're going to go look at something, but I don't really know what to base it off of, because they may not have bought software for precon in decades. So what kind of criteria should they be using?
Yeah. So the good thing is most of the people that we are working with haven't bought software in 10, 20 plus years. So I think we've developed a really good process to just help people kind of understand what is really, really important. And I think a common challenge or mistake potentially that people fall into is they either follow the kind of the big shiny name that's comfortable, or they kind of focus just on the product and features and functions. And I think, so those are some things I think to watch out for just initially. And it is usually kind of a long-term partnership and a long-term relationship. And so understanding not only, hey, what does a product do today, and what are some of the challenges that we could solve today? What does it take to make this transition successful? I think that is probably one of the biggest things that people are not looking at when they evaluate software, and it's their first time to do that, is they haven't been through the process of, hey, this software looks great, I want to buy it, and 2 years later, they've never gotten any value out of it. So I think understanding the product and what challenges it can solve today, ultimately understanding, hey, who out there can help ensure a successful transition, because this is the first time we've switched estimating platforms. We need to rely on a partner and a group that's done this time and time again and kind of knows the best practices.
Long-term success as a partner with a vendor, and making sure that there's a vendor alignment.
Yeah. So, I mean, given that this is usually a 5, 10, 15 or year partnership or longer, I think in addition to making sure the product is a really, really good fit, and that we've got a really clear plan of, how to navigate this change successfully and how to make sure the value is realized. I think that the kind of the third leg of that is just understanding, hey, what direction is this company going? What's important to this company? What are their values? What's the direction for the product? What's my opportunity to influence that roadmap and that direction, and make sure it's not only a fit today, but will be a fit 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. And I think a lot of people really focus on the product here and now and checking boxes, And it's got to be a broader, more strategic, evaluation, product, plan, and then ultimately ongoing partnership and innovation.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that whenever they start exploring estimating software, the amount of time it takes. So, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Of like, you need to go through and you need to be thorough, and also don't settle just to try to rush something. Or if you feel like, hey, we're getting too far in the weeds, I'm just going to settle on features and functionality and not really looking at the long-term view of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think buying software in general is just like about mitigating risk, right? Because if you wait until you are 100% comfortable on every detail, like, you will never make a change, right? So I think it kind of goes back to those buckets, right? It kind of goes back, hey, is the product good today? Great. Is there gaps that there are in the product that are fixable? Great. Let's explore how we go about fixing that and what that process looks like. And so it's some combination of evaluating kind of the product and kind of the company, but also I think a really, really important thing is, what are other people saying, right? So if the product looks really, really good and it feels good, and I feel like the partner has done a really, really good job of taking the time to understand my challenges, show how those challenges could be solved. There's a really good chance that the minor details can be worked out. I think if there's a plan to get you there and you feel good about it, like that should alleviate a lot of concern and kind of ongoing questions. And if you feel like there's an opportunity or channels to influence and get things fixed or improved in the product, I think that those are really, really important. But also understanding what other people are saying about that company, right? Fortunately for us, we've got a phenomenal group of customers, and there's no better representation of the kind of product and partner that we are than talking to customers that have been working with us for years. So in terms of time, it's all over the board. Every company is a little bit different, but just I think focusing on the big things first is really, really important, and not getting caught up in every little detail.
That's really important. And I'm glad you stated that, because this isn't just go to a website, press a button, now you have it. No, this is, especially with Estimator and really focusing on a pre-construction data lifecycle. It's, hey, we want to get your data correct and clean, and let's get it into the database in the right way, and making sure that everyone's trained. And there's a lot of details that go into that. And for companies that want to purchase an estimating software or pre-construction solution, and don't go into those conversations of implementation and the ins and outs of the product. We've seen it before that they don't get it up and stood up and being able to use it to the max that they were hoping to. And that also takes me into the next one, is the next statement of, people need to get their hands on the product. So I know that we do we invite people to explore the product and really get to drive home how Estimator helps them. So do you want to talk a little bit about getting your hands on the product and really driving it and seeing, hey, is this the right fit for the company?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think a really traditional approach that a lot of other vendors take, and we used to do this back in the day, was, hey, let's do a demo. And then the natural reaction is, hey, I want to try it. And so then we toss out, keys to get people a trial. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong there. I think, especially with the nature of an estimating platform, it's got to be your data. There's got to be a certain amount of training that goes into it. And it really leaves a lot to be desired. And so, I think early on we realized that, hey, there's got to be a better way to just kind of make sure that's the right software fit for us. And so we've taken a unique path and say, hey, we may do a demo or two to make sure it kind of looks like a good fit. But really, we found that getting the key stakeholders in a room, whether it be in person or virtually, and spending half a day or 2 days, just depending on the circumstance, and really exploring every corner and every nook and cranny of the software and then mapping that back to customer goals and customer workflow challenges has hands down been the best way for customers to get comfortable and say, hey, this is the right product for us. It does accomplish what we're trying to do. And so I think just getting the right people in there and having a consultative conversation around, hey, what's a workflow today? What's a desired workflow? Let's talk about how we leverage the product to get there, I think has been really, really eye-opening to a lot of people. And they ultimately end up realizing, hey, you know what? We don't necessarily need to trial this. Like we've seen it do what we need to do. And then we have a really, really good implementation plan to add with that to make sure it's configured in a way that delivers this. And then we've got the training to be really proficient in doing this new workflow.
That's awesome. Well, that's all I had, and wanted to say, hey, did you want to give any advice to anyone who's working from home?
Yeah, just be human. It's funny. I've been on a lot of calls, and I've got 3 young kids, and they'll just run in, and I started at first say like, go away, and now I've just said, hey guys, you want to say hi? So I don't know, just be human. We're all in this thing together. I think if you need a break, take a break. You can only stare at a computer screen for so much, even if there's a face on the other side of it. So be human, take breaks, and it's a really unique way to end time to connect with others on a different level.
Yeah, I know companies have done like bring your child to work, and now it's like, no, we brought our work to our child, and
no doubt,
it's just that new way of working. So it's fun to see everyone's kids and pets and mishaps and everything. So we've all been there.
It's also a really great opportunity to grow a mustache.
That is a fancy mustache. So for anyone who's watching this video, our sales team has some major facial hair going on. So for people that have met Chris clean shaven, he will be clean shaven again once we're back in the office, but that is impressive.
Yeah, we've got our rally stashes to try and get past COVID-19. So we're gonna let it ride until we're back in the office, and could get weird and look really interesting, but before all this is said and done.
I'm excited.